All right, thank you. So good morning again, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cindy Sego Umo. I work with the Native Center for Behavioral Health, National American Indian Alaska Native PPTC. Thank you for joining us in the second session on Indigenous Resiliency and Thriving Prevention Programs. Our speaker today is Justine, and we also have Shelley Kane from JBS co-facilitating. And to start our session in a good way, I'd like to call on Shelley to give us an opening blessing. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much, Shelley, for starting us in a good way. Thank you for all the positive energy. Welcome to everyone else who joined us during the blessing. Today we are starting our second session, and our speaker is going to be Justine Murray. Next slide, please, Justine. And so a little bit about our network, PPTC Network. We are sponsored by SAMHSA, and we are part of PPTC Network, which has 10 regional centers, and 3 national centers, including our center, the National American Indian Alaska Native PPTC, the National Hispanic and Latino PPTC, and the PPTC Network coordinating office in Kansas City. Next slide, please. And although our center and this program is funded by SAMHSA, the content is the creation of the presenter, and all opinions do not reflect the views of SAMHSA or HHS. Next, please. And so after this our session, we'll really appreciate if you can fill out our evaluation survey, our GEPRA. We would also have information sent out on how to request CEUs and links to the presentation slides, the recording, or any other resources that are shared today. Please. And today, even though we're gathered here virtually, we'd like to take time to acknowledge the lands that we're all on and to pay respect to the indigenous nations whose homelands were forcefully taken over. This land acknowledgement was written by 3 members of our team, and please take some time to read it out. Thank you. Thank you. If you didn't have time to go through it all, it's also available on our website. You can also reach out to me for more details. And so today I'll be handing over to Justine. Justine has had a career dedicated to assisting organizations to harness the power and service, strengthen capacity, and implement solutions through her work with Peace Corps, AmeriCorps, and other organizations. Justine has helped us facilitate several programs for our center and so many other organizations across the nation. And so I'll be handing over to Justine now to take over the session. Thank you, Justine, and thank you, Shirley.
Thank you, Shirley and Cindy, for this great start and for being my partners as we put this all together and think about what would be good to do from session to session. Just a little bit in terms of, I know those of you that were on last time have seen this before, but just to put us in the frame of what we're talking about here, we're talking about resiliency and indigenous resiliency, indigenous ways of knowing that allow us to be resilient in the work that we do every day, as well as within a framework. These sessions are really within a framework of sustainability, resilient sustainability, so that we'll be able to maintain the work that we're doing and providing the resources that we're providing. Which gets me to the next slide. It's me. Whoops, sorry, went backward. Oh, goodness. Me and my fingers, right? It's really about what is sustainability. And just to put us, I know you all think about this, but just to put it in the frame, sustainability, the way we think about it, is really how can we sustain and continue to meet the needs of the people that we are currently meeting, regardless of where we are in the grant cycle. And as the funds begin to diminish, or whether we're coming to the end of our grant. You all have been working on sustainability from the first day that you started to work. I know you may not think that, because often our days are so full just doing what we need to do. However, everything that you do day by day is setting the stage and leading toward what it is going to happen for tomorrow, and how the resilience that you're building in today will be able to be sustained. We have a look at sustainability through a framework. Started last time looking at the foundation of that framework, the strong evidence-based program, and how it is that you can talk about that so that you will support each one of these pillars that really come to the four-legged table, if you will, of sustainability. The pillars of internal support, resources, partnerships, and marketing and outreach. Today, we're going to be looking at enhancing internal support. We're really going to dig deep into this one. And by internal support, what we mean is that support that is available to you through the organization that is supporting you in your work, whether that's the tribe or the community or a certain organization within the tribe. So we're gonna practice the elevator speech. We ended there last time, but the elevator speech is so important, and I know you all enjoy it, and it's nothing like doing it with peers, because they're the ones that know what we're trying to say. Then we're going to identify the internal allies that we have, or that we may not have right now, but that we want to include and increase. And we'll end up with a plan for enhancing our support. So let's talk about elevator speech. I know that you received an email yesterday after you saying, come join us for today. And in the email, we ask you to come with 2 or 3 sentences that describe your program and describe what it is that you do. How do you answer that question? What do you do? What do you do? I know so many people ask that question, and they really do want to know. The reason we call it an elevator speech is because often that's the length of time that you have. People have the question, and if you don't consolidate your answer for them, you've lost them. I learned this well and true when I had been in Fiji, and I was doing really exciting work with Peace Corps Fiji. And I came home and I was attending my daughter's high school graduation, and people were excited to see me and said, so what did you do there, Justine? And I went on and on and on and on and on about what I did. It was very exciting to me. My daughter tugged on my shirt and said, Mom, you've lost your audience. Would you please just say in a few words that you had a great time in Fiji and here's what you were doing, and then let them go on about what they want to go on about? It's a good lesson. The elevator speech is all around answering the question in a way that grabs people's attention, that demonstrates your passion for the work that you're doing, that encourages them to be passionate with you about what you're doing or to want to learn more. You want to get their attention, you want to get their excitement, and you want to share who you are. We did give an example in the email, and I'll just read it to you. But again, if you didn't have a chance to do this, don't worry about it. We're going to work in small groups. You'll have a chance to present your answer and then get some feedback on it from others. And as I said before, there's nothing like doing it with one another. Before I put us into the small groups and go with this, Yes, Cindy encouraged you to fill out your application, not your application, your evaluation at the end. We do pay attention. And one of the things that most of you said after our last session was you wanted more time in the breakout sessions. I know as well, that's where the learning really happens. That's where you begin to really apply what it is that I've talked about. So we have increased the time this time. We also are making the group smaller so that you'll have more time, each of you, to talk in those breakout rooms. And the first one that we're going to do will be around using the elevator speech. You'll have a chance to give your speech and then get some feedback from others. So first of all, let me read the example that we gave out. Again, if you didn't have a chance to do this, don't worry about it. This is what you do every day. So just say what you do, and as you get into the small group. This example is, hi, I'm, and then you identify the tribe or the organization that you're representing. I'm passionate about what's happening to the youth in our community who are victims of the use of drugs, whether themselves or in their families. We have many stories to tell about the pain and loss due to drugs. However, in our Equine Spirit program, we're currently working with 75 youth who have been victims of drug use. We're seeing positive results. The outcomes are amazing. Our kids are starting to trust their counselors. They're gaining confidence in themselves. They're learning to work together, to take care of one another and the animals. They're experiencing relationships with their counselors, their peers, with cultural ceremonies and privileges. They are graduating from this program with a confident plan for a successful and healthy future. It's exciting. I want to tell you all about it and invite you to come visit. Virtually for now, but we can set up a time. So that's but an example, and I may have done what I do, just put in too many words. So that would be feedback that you would give me if I were doing this in your group. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get into groups of 4, and you'll share your quote unquote pitch. No more, keep it brief, no more than 3 minutes, and it doesn't have to be that long. Keep it brief, and those that are listening, listen from the idea of giving feedback to that person. And you can think about your feedback in this way. What was the message? How did you react? And what do I want to know more about? So as you're listening for, okay, what's the message here? How am I reacting? Am I interested? Do I want to know more? What do I want to know more about? So each of you will have a chance to do your spiel, your little pitch, your elevator speech, and then you'll get feedback from those in your group. Any questions? You'll have about 20 minutes. Okay, enjoy. This is the best part. You get to use one another and the information that you have. See where we are.
I understood we weren't joining them. No?
Yeah, no, we're not.
No. I just haven't figured out how to exclude.
Oh, that's okay. I just didn't join.
Yeah.
So I think another question that I'd ask in the feedback, it's not about, oh, they can only listen. You can only stay until 12:45. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So the other thing is, one of the latter questions could be, does it make you want to do anything for the program?
Right.
Do you want to help them in any way?
Yeah.
Or spread the word? I'm in lunch.
Right.
Understood.
So Cindy, are they in groups?
They are in groups, but I'm just checking the groups that people aren't joining in and rearranging them, so just so that they are able to have participation or move them to that's all.
Okay. Oh, I see. Hmm. Wow. So there are some that are just one. I see.
Yeah, so yeah, if nobody joins them, I just move them to another group that has
Okay.
books.
Great.
And yeah, so we are currently having breakaway sessions. I'll try to put you in a group to join. We're currently using our elevator speech, and also doing the handouts for internal sport. Oh, handout for internal sport will be after. We're currently practicing elevator speech.
Hmm. Okay.
For those who just joined, I'll be assigning you to Breakaway Rooms where we're practicing our elevator speech.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi,
How are you? I'm good. How are you? Where are you from?
Dallas, Texas.
Oh, dang. Well, welcome.
And we have freezing rain.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
yeah. It's so cold.
Oh,
We don't
I
have
heard-
freezing. We don't have freezing anything.
right? You're in
Right.
Texas. Oh, I know. I talked with people from Oklahoma earlier and they said they're in the middle of a big storm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you know, the thing is, they're not prepared for anything here.
No, they don't have salt and plows like we do here in Minnesota. We
No,
have everything.
no.
No, you guys are prepared.
We are.
We have
I
salt
mean-
in our margaritas on the rim. That's kind of about.
And you need lots of those in freezing rain, right?
I mean, I'm a PhD student, and so I was up all night. I went to bed at like 3:30. It wasn't raining. The stars were up in the skies, and I woke up this morning and I'm like, where am I living? It's an alternative reality.
It is totally
So how are you guys doing?
good. And Cindy is we just broke into breakout groups to practice the elevator speech. So I think she's going to try and assign you to a group, if that's all right. I mean, I'm not sure about all of that. Oh,
I think
there she went.
There she goes. Okay, awesome. Now I can bite my banana.
I know. I've been trying to be really careful too.
I only have limited time to eat today.
Yeah, you're like the person who's at lunch, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, good. The groups are looking good. Some of them are just 2,
Mm,
but many are 3 and some 4s.
okay, awesome.
Shirley, I was thinking about the next one. You know, when we had talked before, we had talked about doing a little bit more on data
Mhm.
and using examples from others.
Yep.
And I had said, let's maybe do it at the end, but I think we'd be better off if we could do
Doing
it
next
next month. And
month. Let me
then
talk to my people.
bring it all together,
Mhm.
right? Now,
Yep.
and I wonder if your people would be willing to talk with me then, and we can put some of their stuff in slides.
Mhm.
Um,
Bet.
So if you will check with them and
I will.
then set up a time when maybe we can all talk.
Okay. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And actually, that's the tribe that does the AmeriCorps.
Yeah, and the other thing that I woke up this morning thinking about is, are these tribes working in prevention? Do you have any grantees that are working in prevention?
You know what? I'm sure they have a piece of it in their tribe.
Okay,
Because-
because we want to focus, we want to bring it to that as well, because I think
I
that's where
know.
people can get stuck.
Mhm. I know. Well, I think it's the funding people that put prevention only in the front part.
Yeah,
They don't put prevention in the latter part,
I know. They're
or
so
even
silly.
throughout the whole project and for the kids,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Because if we prevent in the beginning or in the early stages of a child's life, they're less likely to pick it up later.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. Well, and it's a piece of everything that you do. Right? Even if you're in treatment, you're still
Mhm.
working with others in terms of prevention.
Yes, absolutely.
So if you could do that, that'd be great.
I'll get a hold of them. Daniel, he's the guy from Yurak. And he's also the former AmeriCorps guy.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yeah, I sent that to Cindy as well, and she'll put it in the email that goes out, and then I will mention it today. Okay. Okay.
So if it's okay, I want to sing a song at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. My drum set it needs to be sang on today.
Now, say what?
I said my drum says it needs to be sang on today.
Great.
Yep.
Great. Yeah. So when do you want to do that, Shirley?
At the very end.
At the very end. Perfect.
Yeah, to close
Perfect.
it. Mhm.
I thought of your family today. How are they doing?
Which ones?
The family with that of your sister.
Oh, they're having a hard time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're but the good part is my niece and her family, because she's been talking about it, they've been putting out spirit dishes for my sister. And the little guy, you know, the little guy is doing it. You know, he's like
Oh,
a boy. And I said, that's so awesome that he remembers what grandma taught him.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's so powerful that it's going to go on.
It is actually.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So this young man from Yurak, he's so awesome. He's not native.
Uh-huh.
And he's like just come into the tribe and he's like learning some of the language,
Oh,
you
that's
know,
great.
speaks it right, you know, appropriately and uses it in the right context and is so humble and learning, willing to learn. So
Oh,
they've just
that's,
embraced him into the tribe. I think that's just awesome.
it is awesome. It is awesome all the way around.
And he's like really good with data. He knows how to, they did a real simple little intake form.
Mhm.
And that's how they start gathering it from that
Mhm.
simple form. And that's why I think it could be an easy thing for people.
Yeah,
Sometimes the GIPRA is a little too, you know, like much.
it's very bureaucratic and it can
It's
be,
a bit
yeah,
much, you know.
yeah, it is.
But if you do it in a way, to me, that's more culturally appropriate, and do it in a way that's more like native, you know, like
Exactly.
incorporate it into the like the visiting part and getting to know you kind of part, then
Right.
it's so much better, I think. Two unassigned, that would be us. We're the unassigned participants.
No, Natasha, and Rita. Anyway. This is when I miss being in person.
Absolutely, me too. Oh, I miss it all the time. I'm just so done with virtual, you
Oh
know.
gosh, I know. I was thinking about it this morning. Yeah. It's just so much nicer when you can be in the room. And I so appreciate you doing the sage each time, because I can feel it, but I forget to, right? So it's just really nice.
Yeah, I didn't think it was possible, but when we had a meeting with some couple of guys, one was from Oregon, I think, and he did it. He did the smudging. It was like awesome. I thought, wow,
Yeah.
I can feel it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. So where is Cindy?
I don't know.
I am right here.
Oh, she's there.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I hopped into some of the breakaway rooms that were asking for support to understand what they should do. So.
Uh-huh. And how did that go?
Went well. Two of them asked for support. They needed the handout, so I just copied
Oh.
the chats for them.
So good. Good. So what do we think, Cindy? About 4 more minutes?
Yes, I just sent out the broadcast that we have of. But I guess it went to those in the breakaway room, so you probably not see it.
I'm sorry.
I said I sent out a broadcast to the rooms that we have 3 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
Justine, where are you at again?
I'm sorry.
Where do you
I
live?
live in California, close to Sacramento, in Davis.
Oh, in Davis. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be coming that way
Oh
somewhere.
my gosh, let me know when.
I will. I'm actually going to San Diego on the 11th. And then I'm kind of thinking I'm gonna just, instead of coming back,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go over to like by Fresno area, because I have a
Oh.
friend there in
Oh,
Fresno.
nice.
And then my friend Missy wants to come and meet me, and we're gonna go to a casino called Chuck Chansey. Have you heard of that?
I haven't.
They're up from Fresno somewhere. And then we're gonna go hiking in Yosemite.
Oh, wonderful. Have you
Yeah.
been to Yosemite, Shirley?
Yes, I have, but a long time. It was in 08 when I went. I moved to California, and first place I went to Yosemite, and it just like, oh my God, I hated the drive.
That's perfect.
It was too windy for
Oh,
me.
yeah. Yeah. I'm just going to open the door for Daisy.
What's her name? Daisy?
Daisy. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's my friend's dog's name. She's got 2 dogs. One's name is Daisy. I can't remember the other one. It's got some unusual name.
Well, it looks like people are coming back.
Okay.
Welcome back.
About 10 seconds to close out the breakaway. So
Oh, gosh. All right, people are coming back. There we go.
I think we're all back. We should be back.
We're all back. Good. Well, how was that? Please, if you want to share verbally or if you want to put it in chat, did you learn anything new? What was your reaction to people's talking about what they do?
Oh, I thought it was great. I had representation for someone who was recovery specialist, someone who was in the community working with parents and alcohol, and then another one who was more of an advocate doing legal things for domestic abuse. It was cool, very, very well-rounded. So thank you.
Oh, what fun. It's kind of inspiring, isn't it? Sounds like you were inspired, Wendy.
Very much so.
To everything that's going on.
It is. It's nice to see that, you know, as a researcher, I'm trying to find what I'm trying to find, and it means such a difference to find it from people that are actually working with the population, not just talking about it or this program's here. You know, they're like, I'm in it and I'm doing it.
Good. Yeah, good. Did any of you get new ideas from what other people said? Did you get some ideas about how you could say something differently? Yeah, I see that you're liking, of course.
This is Jason. You know, I was talking about trying to be succinct and kind of, you know, stay in the major themes and making sure you get what you need to get out there. But what one of my colleagues did was she added a personal story, which I really like that because and my other colleague said, you know, that's the hook. That's how you hook them in, is always share that personal story. If you can make it, you don't want to make it too long where you lose their, you know, what their focus on what you're saying, but at the same time, you want to hook them in that personal story. So I got to remember to keep that in my elevator pitch.
That's great. Yeah, personal story will actually absolutely grab somebody's emotion. It helps me see somebody that you're talking about. It brings up feeling, and feeling is good. As you said, Jason, it's the hook. If you can get me to feel about it, then you've got me. You've got me.
This is Joy here. In our group, we kind of got to know each other a little bit more than talk about our elevator speech. But one advantage I have in my work is I work with a dog, a big white Great Pyrenees mixed dog who is not one of the smart dogs I've ever had, but she's very good at her job. But what's great is when she's with me anywhere, she is, why do you work with your dog? And I can then explain, because she works with kids that are at risk, kids that have had challenges, and she has resiliencies, and she can tell them, it essentially talks about resiliencies and protective factors, but she is the reason that people get interested in the first place.
Right.
And then they can kind of see that, caring for kids that are at risk for addiction. I'm a prevention specialist and a Lutheran pastor. She also goes to church with me. Having her with me makes me automatically more approachable, first of all, but B, personalizes, the needs of the kids that we interact with.
Absolutely. And that's a good point. Not everybody is going to have a dog, but do think about what it is that you bring that is approachable, whether it's how you dress that day or whether it's I mean, I don't know what it might be, but I know sometimes for me, it's like if I have a cup of coffee, and I know that's difficult to do and to share virtually, but just think about what it is that is going to help you move into this conversation more easily. And again, feel the connection. So there's the nonverbal connection as well as the verbal connection, and then that we're talking about so much. Good. Well, it sounds like, and also you're all putting it into chat. I appreciate that. It sounds like it was a good experience for everybody. And isn't it wonderful to try this with colleagues? Somehow colleagues are even better to try it with than just somebody on the street or somebody in the elevator, because you know a colleague is going to tell you what it really is and will give you that, you know, that they want you to do the best you possibly can do. So I'm so glad you had that opportunity. On that basis now, we're going to move into, we're going to move into really looking at internal support. And again, I mentioned this earlier, but just to reframe or to remind us, internal support, what I mean by that is the support from within the organization that is supporting your grant. Or for some of you, it's the tribe. For some of you, it's an organization within the tribe. For some of you, it's a community. For some of you, it might be a church. So what we're wanting to do here is dig deeply into that internal piece. Often we think about getting support from outside, but it's important to have the support from inside, because that just gives everybody energy to keep moving. So let's look at the kinds of support that are available. And of course, this always starts with awareness. People have got to know about you to be able to care about you. However, often we think about support primarily in terms of money. Okay, are they going to be able to give me money to keep me going here? And I want us to all look broadly at the kinds of support that's available within our organization or within our tribe. So let's look at that. Like there's the collaborators. These are people and or organizations and or small units within your organization or tribe that may be working with the same audience that you're working with. There might, if you're working with youth, there are others within the tribe that are working with youth. If you're working with substance use disorder, there are others that are working with that. You can come together and as collaborators because you're dealing with the same problem. You're looking at the same issue. And you can talk about, okay, here's what we do. You can share resources. You can share your work and your excitement and your energy. You're collaborating. And in that way, you're providing one another support. Advocates. We all need advocates. These are going to be the leaders within your organization, within your tribe, or within your community. These are the individuals that can speak for you, if you will, in their own groups. So within the tribe, it could be the elders, it could be the council, it could be the judges, it could be the ministers, it could be the teachers or the principals. They're the people that are not necessarily working in the same area that you're working, but they care about what's going on in the tribe or the community, and they're going to be excited to hear about what you're doing, and they will advocate for you and your program in their realm of influence, which is very different than the realm of influence that you have. So, and as I said, we all need advocates. None of us can do this road alone. And then, of course, we do have the source of resources. So there are places and just look to see if there are places within your organization or your tribe where there are resources available. Again, don't leave it only to money. Yes, there may be some health and human services money that are in the health department that can come your way. If some of your if some of your activities, you're not being able to support them, maybe there are others that have some funds that can help you support that. There might also be other kinds of resources, like maybe some of those areas have counselors that you can refer your students to, or maybe they have trainers if you need people that are training. Maybe they just have space. Maybe you don't have space, but they have space. Maybe they have a website that you could be a part of. Think about all of the possible resources that are out there within your local place to see where you can tag on and where you can also use those resources. So that's the kind of support that you're going to be looking for. Now let's think about who should know about your program. And I'm just giving a very brief list here. You'll know much more about who needs to know about you, but the tribal elders may need to know. What about the tribal council? What about the tribal community health department, which would include the doctors, the nurses, the admin people, all of the people that work within that department? Maybe you'll find a real advocate somewhere that you don't even know is there. What about the tribal court system? And here again, this is the judges, the prosecutors, the defenders, the clerks. Who in that system or that area needs to know about you? What about governing committees, like the youth committee or the fundraising committee or the elder committee? Where are those committees that might need to know about you? And then, of course, there's the tribal and the community police. Who do they need to know about you? And this goes from the chief down to the patrolman who is in the car. So just think about, maybe not all of these people do. Again, I'm just giving examples, but think about who in your local organization should know about your program. Once you get that identified, then let's look at blocks. Because it can be difficult. And I know this, it's very difficult sometimes. But we need to identify the blocks so that we can do something about it. Obviously, people are busy. In that list of who needs to know about you, there's nobody there that's not working full out, probably doing their busy days. So they're busy and they're saying, wait, I've got too much to do. You're going to tell me one more thing? So busyness is part of it. Sometimes within any organization, there's competitiveness. And there's within any of those pieces, I'm holding on to my own. I've got my piece, you've got your piece. And there's sometimes in that some jealousy as well. How come you got the money? We needed the money and you got the money. So if that's a block, how are we going to deal with that? Particularly because of COVID and everything that's happened this last 2 years, everybody's feeling isolated. Shirley and I were talking about it during the break. We're so tired of virtual getting together. We want to be together with real people. Everybody, know that everybody's feeling that way. So what are the strategies that we can use to take care of that? And then, believe me, I understand. You are working with people within your own program as well as within your community who are tired. They've been working with abuse order. Oh, I'm sorry, I lost my words for years, and can see the fragility of what's going on. Sometimes that turns to just tiredness. Sometimes it turns to apathy. Knowing that that's a block then, and you'll have your own list. You know your agency and your internal workings much better than I do. Then you can begin to develop strategies for how you can address the blocks. Your elevator speech started, the passion with which you speak, the information that you have that you can give, the success stories, as you said, Jason, the success stories that you can come with. You can talk to people in ways or provide them information that they might not have, that your clients, the people that you're working with, are very happy. The other thing to remember, that with any strategy comes persistence. It's a case-by-case, step-by-step process. And this is where you need to come back to your own self and take care of your resilience so that you can wake up in the morning and be excited to go tell your story again. So what we have the opportunity to do now, I've just given you an overview of what to look at. And we did send out a handout with the, I believe, with the email. But let me put it up on the screen here, and I think that Cindy will also put it in the chat. But you're going to go back in your groups and really dig into who should know about your program. What are the barriers from those people for support? And what are some of the strategies? And again, this is a wonderful opportunity to use one another and the experience that you have had, because you're all dealing with people that you want to know you want them to know about your program. You're all dealing with blocks to getting that information out there. And some of you have been very successful with some of them and not so successful with others. All of you have been successful. Otherwise you wouldn't be here today. So share those successes, help one another think about what it is that they can do to increase and to enhance this internal support. You'll be working again in those groups. Do you have any questions for me before we put you back in the groups? All right, Cindy, ready?
Yes, 20 minutes.
Okay, so I think we're going to go back in the groups. And again, everybody's clear. This is your chance to really learn from one another and help one another explore enhancing this internal support.
I'll just put it back into the.
You'll have about 20 minutes in this group.
I have it in the chat. I'll just put it back in the chat now so that others can try to download in case they haven't gotten it.
We have a few that are leaving.
Yeah, some people have to leave. It's the top of the hour.
Yep.
I'll try to reassign those who.
Yeah, so there will be a little bit of movement as we put people back in groups because people did have to leave. So just hang with us as we get it all organized. Think about us being in a conference room and we're having some coffee and finding our groups.
Jeanette, this is Sean. Can you see me? I think it transferred to a room.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh,
I can
wow.
see you.
I wasn't in the same group before, but that's all good.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I just joined not too long ago, somewhat trying to figure out what's going on.
Good. I'm learning more about this Zoom tech stuff, you know. Okay, somebody's asking for help.
Okay.
Did Daisy come back?
Yeah. She's back. Yeah, she went and got a sock. Of course, there are toys, but she would rather have a sock. Thank you.
Exactly. She's like kids, you know, kids would rather have like a carton or a box to play in rather than a toy.
Absolutely. Mhm. Oh, I'm going to run and just use the restroom for a minute,
Yes,
and then I'll be
I gotta
back.
go too.
Yeah.
Hi there. My meeting was canceled at 10 and I was in breakout room number 5. Could you add me back?
Okay, all
Thank
right,
you.
thank you. I'll do that.
That was great.
Yeah.
What's that?
Wow. somebody came, their meeting was canceled and they came back and then wanted to join their group.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And when it just some folks get the handout.
Okay.
Yeah. So it looks like it's going really great. Yeah.
So, Justine,
Mhm.
can you just remind them why these things are important and how they tie into sustainability?
Yeah. Yeah, right. That's a good idea. Well, you mean it's not obvious?
Oh, some of us are kind of dense, so we need.
Yeah, no.
reminders.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So what we're doing in the Tribal Learning Collaborative, we're having them present on their program. And we just gave them a template of how to present on it in 10 to 15 minutes. And then we're also going to have them present at, some of them are presenting at a NICWA conference. That's a National Indian Child Welfare Conference.
That's
And
great.
then also we're putting it on the Child Abuse Something website. So it'll be in 2 places. And then from that, we're having Joanne do a 1-pager for each program. So you'll hear their presentations.
Nice.
Joanne does the 1-pager like she did for the TOR grantees. And then all of that, you have everything you need for sustainability as you go forward. And
Yeah.
so,
That's great.
isn't that just awesome?
Yeah, that's super. That's going to be so helpful.
We have such a good team. I have Mary and Holly and Carlos and I working on that Tribal Learning Collaborative. So I'm just like excited, about their work. Well, they just do fantastic work. It's that I tell them, guys, give yourself kudos. You need kudos. We all do. Hello.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I'm so glad. That's great.
Because this work it needs to continue.
Oh,
And
it's so important.
I went to an awesome webinar last week that OVC did on grant writing. It was so good. Really, really well done. She broke it down and I got all my notes. It's like 11 different pieces that you have to put together, Yeah.
Nice.
Very well done. Cindy. Cindy.
Yes, please. I'm right here.
Oh, Laura. Looks like Laura needs to be assigned.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Laura, were you in another group before, or should I just reassign you to anyone that works best?
I think I was in the 11:30 to, or 11 to 12:30. Is it? No, I don't think I was in a group.
She hasn't been in one, so just put her in one.
Oh, okay.
Did you just join, Laura?
Yes, I just joined.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Oh,
All right.
all
Well,
right.
I think we're finishing
enough
up.
time?
How much longer in the groups, Cindy?
About 9 minutes.
Oh, about 9 minutes.
That's enough time.
Yeah. So Laura, what we're doing in these groups is talking about internal support, and we'll just assign you to a group and you can introduce yourself, and then they'll help you catch up.
Okay, sure. Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Justine,
Yeah.
I think this is a good, like a model for a learning collaborative. I do,
You mean in
because,
terms of having them work? Oh, there's Bev Anderson.
yeah, in terms of having them go to groups and learn.
Yeah, I do
Mhm.
too.
Yes, learn from each other.
Hi, Bev. Are you just joining us or were you a member of a group before?
Hi, Bev, are you there? Bev,
Not be.
there you are.
Oh, my thing was muted, sorry. No, I got the time wrong on this training. It's already been going on for an hour, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I think I'll back out since I've missed most of it.
Well, there's some good learning opportunity though. If you, I think there's like 8 minutes left in the breakout room if you wanted to join them.
Oh, okay, 8 minutes left.
Yeah.
In the
Okay,
breakout groups, and then we're going to come back to the total
big
piece
group.
again. If you want to join us, absolutely. We can assign you to a group and they can sort of fill you in on what's been going on.
okay. Okay,
Okay, go ahead, Cindy. There she goes.
Great. Yeah, why not?
Give them every opportunity to learn. This is like great.
Absolutely. And to
Yeah.
talk to one another.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So someday, Justine, we can meet in person.
Yes. Well,
Cool.
when you come, let me know. I mean,
I will.
I don't know.
Maybe
I'm
we can
about,
try to get together.
yeah, wouldn't that be fun? I'm just a
Yeah, that would
couple of
be-
hours away from Fresno, but who
Fresno.
knows? Who knows?
Yeah, Frez, yes.
And you may fly out of Sacramento
Yeah.
when you fly
exactly.
home,
Right. Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Yep. I'll be in Frez, yes.
You might drive up to Sacramento rather than going to San Francisco to fly home.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't go to San Francisco. I've heard it's insane. Too.
Well, it's its own stuff.
I had a meeting there when I worked there, and I took a train from, I think it was like, I don't know. It was outside of San Francisco anyway. There's Leona.
Hi, Leona.
Hello, sorry for showing up late. I just saw this email and registered. So we thought we'd join, me and my coworker, Felicia.
Uh-huh. Well, welcome. We're just working in small groups right now, and there's Robert.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Robert. I think we're probably just coming back from the small groups.
Okay.
So
yep.
You'll be with us as we finish up. And then you will be able to get the recording if you're interested after.
Yes, please. We are definitely interested.
That's
and also
great.
the forms too, Leona. There'll be the first one dealing with the elevator speech, and then the second one dealing with internal support.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Sounds great.
Yes.
Hi, Marita.
Thanks, Robert. Bye-bye.
Hi, Leona. Good to see you.
Where are you guys from?
I'm originally from Imana. Leona's from Huslia. We work together. I work with Leona when I in Fairbanks.
Okay.
So I visit the villages. We worked for Head Start.
Nice.
But now we work with tribals.
And did you say in Fairbanks?
Yeah.
Wow. What time is it there? We've been having this conversation. Is it 9 o'clock?
9:15. Yeah.
9:15.
Oh, you're 3 hours behind.
Behind you guys.
They're an hour behind Pacific.
An hour behind Pacific. So you have to get up at 8 to get in the beginning, right?
Well, I usually get up before 7 and leave here. And well, we're starting to see the sunrise, which is so beautiful.
Oh, nice. Nice.
But I miss Fairbanks, just so you know. I miss it. The interior is so beautiful. That's my second home up there.
In where?
In Fairbanks.
In Fairbanks. Uh-huh.
I'm originally from Umanak. That's the end of the Lower Yukon River, right near the Bering Sea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Both of us, wow. Yeah, some of my coworkers went up, I think, to Anchorage in 2019 for a meeting. Right before I started at JBS.
So I feel bad for missing the whole thing, but I came in and saw this email. I was like, oh gosh, we have 20 minutes. Let's get on.
Well, and I think we're just coming back from the small group. So yeah. Let me just check.
You
Cindy,
did say,
how much more time in
the
small groups?
Oh.
There'll be a recording, Leona.
Yeah,
It's
there will be
recorded.
the recording.
Mhm.
Thank you. Sounds good. That's what I was hoping for. I hope at least we could get to watch the recording and get some info from that.
Yeah.
And Marita, me and Felicia still work together.
I know, I see that. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll tell her I said hi.
Yeah, she's actually right here. She could say hi to you herself. Oh, I'll go grab my muffin. Oh, go ahead.
We all work with the Head Start.
Oh, there she
Hi,
is.
Felicia.
How fun.
You and asking how you were doing, and Leon was like, "Are you guys still Facebook friends?" And I was like, "I don't get on Facebook too much. How is she doing?" Obviously, I need to get back on Facebook.
Yeah.
Seeing you.
Good. Good to see you. Take care.
How
Yeah,
fun.
we work with Head Start age groups. We're back in 2010. That's when I started working with TCC. Worked with them for maybe 5 or 6 years, and then I moved away from Fairbanks.
And Leona, where are you?
I am in a small, tiny village in the middle of Alaska called Huslia.
Called which one?
Huslia, sorry.
Huslia.
Felicia's away from me, so I could take this off. Yes, it's Huslia.
Huslia.
Wow.
We're really remote.
And it's very beautiful. I love that place. I just love it. I love everything about the interior. I miss it. I really do.
Good. Well, everybody's coming back. So I think we're getting everybody back almost. Okay. Cindy, are we all back?
Yes, we are.
Great. And we were joined by 2 from Alaska, and they just didn't get here in time to join the group. So we'll be sure and get them involved with us next time. We do this once a month. So Leona and Marita next in March 23rd. Put us on your schedule so you'll know we're there. So this is the worksheet, but what I want to do now is find out, what did you discover? And you can put it in chat or speak up. We're getting small enough.
Cindy, can they get a copy of the form? Is it in chat?
Yes, it is in chat.
It is in chat, and it will also be sent out in the follow-up email.
Hi, this is Jean from Fort Thompson, South Dakota, but the two persons in my breakout group, I really appreciate it. They gave me excellent ideas. They gave me a website to look. They gave me their experiences, what worked, what didn't, and what the goals to go set for. So yeah, I got lots of good information.
Oh, that's great, Jean. Can you share one strategy that they suggested?
Oh, the coalition that I work with, it's a real struggle to get people to meet, but they gave me ideas of making the list of more people. Precious showed her example of who they have on their poster board, who they want to try to contact. So, and anything that you have that's visual, you can check off. That really helped.
Right.
And then I also got a recommendation for let me see, from Emory, for the coalition. Oh, I wrote it down.
That's all right. We'll know that you'll get to it.
Yeah. Oh, communitiesthatcare.net.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So that's an excellent reference point. And having coalitions having goals, because they do have good goals, but it's good to revisit them, and it's good to make sure you're including others, so that certain people don't get burnt out.
Exactly.
So thank you.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for sharing. Who else? Did anybody else get strategies or get ideas that they hadn't thought about before, or people that they could go to that they hadn't thought about going to them before?
This is Tia, and I will say, I think a lot of us, for us, we used to be able to go in the lobby and do like a little health fair every month to let people know what opportunities there were. But of course, we haven't been able to do that. Right. So we were looking at doing a newsletter, but Rose Olmsted, I was in with her, and they actually made a short video for their program. And I thought that was a good idea, because we do have TVs here in our health facility that we could stream a short video. And then she talked about teaming up with someone, and that's one of the strategies I use because I help promote and get the different departments able to meet, or the people that come to us able to see what those other departments do. So one of the best ways to do stuff for other departments and help them is to team up with them in doing something that is good for their department, or we help them find materials to hand out.
Perfect.
Yeah, so teaming up, I think, is a great idea with the people that you could use their support, but a lot of times they need your support just as much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that brings up a really good point. When you're looking at these people that should know about you, then you can also think, what do we have that we can offer them? So that we really do get into a collaborative, as opposed to just I need this from you. Very good points. That's great. Yeah, others are sharing as well. The judges, the court system, even police officers. Yes, including all of those, the importance of communications. Yeah, and I really like the idea of videos, particularly at this point in time. I don't know about you all, but even when I get a newsletter anymore, I look at it briefly, but if it's gonna, I don't know, I've just gone in different ways, but if you can send me a video or a picture or something that uses all of my senses, I think since we've all been so virtual for so long, we need to think about other ways to grab people, and videos are great. And having your participants talk about what it has been like for them, so that they're telling the story. You're not the only one telling the story. That's a great idea as well.
Wow.
What came up as blocks for people that you developed strategies for? Were there any surprises for you about what people found hard? Oh gosh, we're getting close to the end. I'm so sorry. It does go quickly, doesn't it?
Biggest block is COVID.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. May we all, may this decline really serve us all well, because we're all ready to not be.
Stigmatizing.
Yeah. Stigmatizing. Absolutely. Oh, that's so true, isn't it? We have such biases about what it means to be dependent upon something, and stigmatize those that are in pain because of drug use.
In my group, I was letting the group know that, you know, I'm kind of a step ahead a little bit on a lot of things, on what you had on your list there as far as the tribal courts and all that, which I did. I made everything on the tribal lands know about my program. And then I went outside the box, and I let all the 4 counties around my county I work with the police departments, the DAs, the court systems. And I seen that very satisfaction. Well, then beyond that, I hit 2 surrounding states.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
That I went to different recovery programs and got their input on how they're running theirs compared to ours. And you know, I've done it on my own time, of course, but yeah, very satisfied. I mean, I brought a lot of stuff back to my desk for information.
Well, and Perry, as you say, that's part of what keeps you going too, isn't it?
Yes.
It keeps you excited, and you're not allowing yourself to just get in a rut. Not that any of us want to be in a rut, but this is one of the ways that keeps you excited about what's going on. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great.
Perry, where are you from?
I'm from Wisconsin, St. Croix, Chippewa.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, you all, we're coming to the end of our time. Goodness, it's 10:28 my time. I'm in the Pacific, so it's way beyond lunchtime for all of you. Just to summarize, it's so important in terms of sustainability and resilience. It's so important to have this support from the internally, from your organization, from your tribe, from your community. And broaden it as much as you can, because number 1, you don't feel so alone. Number 2, you never know what's out there in terms of what people have to offer unless you ask. And you don't know what they need unless you ask. So you can't form a collaborative just by yourself. So sustainability, resilience is so based on the support that you can gain and the relationships that you can develop within your own world, and then as you begin to look outside as well. So thank you for your comments. Please go and fill out the evaluation. Next time, we're going to be talking about data collection and how to use data, how to collect it, how to use it. We've done a lot of this, but we're going to really delve into it next time. So I think Anybody? Oh, Shirley,
Yes.
Shirley, you want to send us on our way.
You bet.
Thank you so much.
My drum is it's cold. This is a song, it's to honor the women. It's the strong woman song. Hey, 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 oh. Way, hey, way, hey, hey, oh. Way, hey, 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 oh. Way, hey, 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 oh. Way, hey, way, hey, hey, oh. Way, hey, way, hey, hey, oh. Way, hey, hey, yo. Way, hey, 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 hey, yo. Way, hey, way, hey, hey, yo. Way, hey, way, hey, hey, yo. Way, hey, hey, yo. Way, hey, way, hey, hey, yo. Woohoo!
Whoa.
Miigwech.
Miigwech.
All the women, all the strong women in our community.
Miigwech.
All the women who need that support. Miigwech.
Miigwech.
Okay, later.
Well, thank you all for joining. We'll see you in a month. Good luck. Thank you so much for all the great work that you continue to do every day. And know that we hold you close. You're not isolated.
Absolutely. Oh.
Thank
Later.
you, Justine, and thank you, Shelley. Thank you, everyone. See you next
Bye-bye.
Not much.